The reason I chose Loughborough was the great reputation it's got for design. The reasoning that I wanted to be associated with some of the great products that they've designed in the past, and how Loughborough is then also linked with other aspects, including like sports design. But what really enticed me was the industrial side of things, and not only looking at how things work, but how things look, and integrating the two and getting like all the skills involved with every aspect of design included.
I chose Loughborough because it really seemed the place to develop as a designer. I looked at a lot of universities when I was leaving A-levels, and the ones that really stuck out I looked at and went for interviews, but Loughborough was the one for me because it had the best environment. The lecturers seemed to be really on the ball and current, and it was a really good atmosphere with the other students. We were taken around by older students, shown all the facilities, and I felt really comfortable and at home there, and felt like it was a place that I could grow. And I've learned so much that I've been here that I can now know the full design process and can execute a professional product that's viable and useful for a lot of people. It was really good sort of practicing key skills like sketching and model making and prototyping. But what we get to do here is we learn all those things in the early years in modules, and then in the final year and amalgamate those to create a really exciting flagship product for our portfolios that we can present to businesses, present to potential employers, that really sells who we are, what Loughborough is, and where we want to go with our careers.
They're very good at nurturing you up to the same level, so that when everyone gets to the end of first year, you're all at the same skill level and you all have the same skill set that you can employ, and it means that everyone's on a level playing field. So then when you get into your second and third years, you're being set briefs by companies, you're doing things like your design week, you've got briefs for RCA, RSA. It means you can then really focus in on everything and develop and nurture the skills that you want to right through to your final year, where you can then do anything you like. The brief is very open. It's just there's just certain small criteria that you have to meet, and then with that you can really focus in on the skills that are your best skills, and then that shows you off and expresses you a designer as a whole. And the great thing about the Loughborough University experience as being a member of the design school is that they don't really make you into just a CAD man or just a sketcher. You're the complete package. You can offer people everything, and I think employers really value that.
I learned so many skills at design school, things that I never thought I would actually learn. Apart from all the things like you sort of associate with design, sort of like sketching and the CAD work, I learned a lot more about people and how important people is to design. Whether that's for doing a lot of user research and testing, and the uni encouraged you to go out there and find real problems and find real solutions to it. And so definitely a lot of sort of researching, so you have to go out there and speak to people.
The making bit is the bit I enjoy the most. It allows you to start user testing, and it allows you to just progress your concept a lot further. So for example, I had quite limited knowledge on electronics, and limited knowledge again on vacuum casting, and those are two processes that I used throughout this entire major project in my final year. And the facilities at Loughborough and the tutors allowed me to learn those new skills and apply them to my major projects.
Before I was at Loughborough, I always had a massive passion for sketching and getting my hands dirty and things like that, and the idea of being at Loughborough, and I've managed to develop all of my skills from day one of being there, working on my sketching, working on model making, bringing everything together to be a complete designer, all the way through to designing portfolios and getting a placement linked in with actual modules, so that then I could go out and experience the real world for a year, actually putting my skills that I'd built up in the first 2 years to good use, and then to come back and design something with everything that I've learnt over the time there, and be the designer I am today.
One of the things that I thought was the most enjoyable thing about the course in general was the whole peer involvement. I felt that you learn a lot from your peers. There's a lot of team working involved in the course, and so throughout it you learn a lot off different people. So I have friends who are a lot better at Illustrator than me, and they'll teach you a little trick. And it's the same on Pro Engineer, all of the different softwares that we learn. There's loads of things that everyone knows, because people have different strengths, and so by combining them in your team working ability, you learn all the more.
We're encouraged to take things apart and look into technology and try and incorporate it into new solutions. So I learned a lot of electronic skills, definitely a lot of mechanic skills, a lot of sort of crazy experiments which I thought was very interesting, which I never used to do at school, and you can only do at Loughborough Design School. We did a lot of user research, so you go out, find real problems, and finding real solutions to things that you never thought existed. So going out and finding these problems is a real part of this course.
Well, in my major project, I got to work. I made sure that I was working with real materials, so I wasn't doing like rapid prototyping or anything like that. I was getting really involved in kind of machine shops, so learning lots to do with the milling machines, the lathes, and all of that, and getting really stuck in. And I quite like the details about it, so down to fine tolerances. So kind of you're doing things to like 0.02 of a millimetre and stuff, but that makes all the difference. And I really enjoy that. And the technical staff are so good at kind of helping you out because they've been doing it for years. Like, I mean, there's people there that have been working there for 32 years, so they've got all of this knowledge. They know anything you throw at them, they can take it and give you a proper answer, and you'll know that you can trust what they say.
The first and second year, they actually give us the skills and the abilities and the insights into what industry might be like that allow us to work successfully for an entire year in our third years. I myself went to a company called Bristan Group, and I actually worked on a product from the very beginning concept stages all the way to the end manufacturing stages, and it's now actually on sale. And because of the experiences I had in first and second year, I was able to work on every step of that process through to manufacture. And then I was able to come back to university for my final year and apply exactly the same knowledge to my major project. While I was on placement, I also learned a lot more about manufacturing considerations. I learned more about materials, and it really just expanded on the knowledge I learned in first and second year.
I did a placement at Vax Limited, designing vacuum cleaners, which from the outset doesn't sound great, but as soon as I was there, I was thrown in at the deep end and get to look at how they look, how they work, seeing how the technology's evolved over time, and seeing what kind of difference I can make and put my own stamp on it from all the skills I've learned at Loughborough. And it was something that's given me a lot of passion, and that's why I've designed my major year project as a vacuum cleaner in partnership with them, because it was something that they were interested in. They gave me sponsorship towards, and it's something that I'm taking forward and going to carry on working there after I've graduated.
There's a lot of different briefs that you're set throughout the years. I mean, the design week ones are always quite good because they're short, fast, and you've only, as the name suggests, you've got a week to do them in. You get set a brief, and they're always involved with companies as well. So whether it's Boots, DCA, Craft, so you're working with global companies on briefs that they're set. And if you do it well enough, there's the potential that something may happen and come from that and go forwards. It's great to have the opportunity to work with these people. I mean, like for example, DCA this year, people got offered interviews and stuff through just a week's worth of work. So it's a great experience to have that and be able to do that as well.
My biggest achievement personal achievement is my vacuum cleaner that I designed as my major year project, mainly because it's asked so many questions of people, and it raised the question of why am I doing it this way, and Loughborough's given me the opportunity to fulfil and answer lots of questions that most people wouldn't dare to ask. Given the opportunity to use lots of different materials and technologies, experience from every lecturer here, working with the clients and my placement company, everyone becoming a kind of a whole unit to give a product that I think would be something good.